Hey guys, I'm Detective Zack Foxen. You're listening to Forensic Geek Radio. Today, we're going to talk about OJ Simpson and some dying robots. Well, on with the show. Well, with the past 2 weeks having been video episodes, which the overall census says you guys have enjoyed, which thank you, we've missed out on some news. So we're going to do a few news stories this week, and then I've got a really cool product highlight for you. So, down with the news. A team of Dutch researchers have found that the advancing of forensic technology could be causing crime scene investigators to lose focus on the big picture. In an article in the Journal of Forensic Sciences, the Dutch teams note how cutting-edge technology in trace evidence detection and rapid DNA and fingerprint tools can lead to investigators getting tunnel vision on the minute details of trying to establish a suspect's presence at the scene. And while, yes, this is a critical part of examining a crime scene, research has found that this has led to a high probability of other critical aspects being overlooked, such as reconstructing the entire event. Basically, the principles of looking too close at one dot as opposed to looking at the overall facts of the scene and connecting the dots. Due to a desire by crime scene investigators to want to use the latest and greatest tech available. Remember, always go back to the basics when working a scene. Look at the entire picture and interpreting what the overall evidence tells you. Then, use the new tech to explore each facet of the case. What image conjures up in your brain when I say the phrase white Ford Bronco? Specifically, one being chased by dozens of black and white LAPD police cruisers on the evening of June 17, 1994. That's right, the infamous pursuit of OJ Simpson and the subsequent arrest and 133-day trial for the murders of Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman. Possibly one of the most sensationalized and covered murder investigations of the modern era. We all remember the infamous glove and following acquittal of OJ Simpson. But recall the murder weapon of a sharp knife instrument was never found. Well, this case is back in the light as a retired LAPD officer was found to have been given a folding knife that was found buried on the estate by a construction worker tasked with the demolition of the OJ house. While a time frame on the claim report is unknown, supposedly the retired officer was working an off-duty security job nearby the construction and demolition of the estate, and this construction worker brought the officer this knife that was found on the estate. Apparently, the LAPD officer kept the knife as a sort of souvenir, and when the officer retired, he bragged about the object to colleagues who reported it to their supervisor. The LAPD has confirmed that they have the knife, but the nature of the forensic processing it will undergo is unknown. And while OJ can't be tried for the murders again due to double jeopardy, he is currently serving time for robbery and kidnapping in Nevada. If it don't fit, you must acquit. Well, it's spring, which means that my eyes will begin to water and my nose will run as my botanical arch nemesis pollen becomes more prevalent. But away from making me realize why nature and I just don't get along, pollen also serves a purpose at crime scenes as well. Forensic palynology is the study of pollen as it applies within criminal investigations. Whether determining geographical origin or seasonal age, pollen evidence has shown that it can be helpful in the past few years. But according to Von Bryant, director of the Palynology Lab at Texas A&M University, the U.S. is quite behind the eight ball in this particular forensic discipline. Let's try that again. This particular discipline. Words are fun. With both research and practical use in this discipline lacking. Currently, the UK, Australia, and New Zealand are the only ones using this particular forensic discipline. Discipline, discipline, discipline. I need discipline saying the word discipline. Anyways, if you'll recall in our next story, 2011 saw one of the worst earthquakes to rock the Pacific waters, leading to a tsunami that was over 30 meters high and killing more than 19,000, wrecking the lives of another 160,000 and causing Japan's Fukushima nuclear power plant into a meltdown. 5 years later, the area is still too dangerous for human life due to nuclear radiation. Currently, TEPCO, or the Tokyo Electric Power Company, has estimated it will take as long as the next 3 to 4 decades to clean up the worst nuclear disaster since Chernobyl. Cue the partnership with Toshiba. Yes, the computer company has spent the past few years developing a series of Soul Mission robots to enter the hostile terrain and remove the nuclear rods from the pools. Videos of these things in action and testing are pretty cool, with one minor little issue. The robots have died. Yes, after being sent into the Fukushima area, the radiation proved too much and fried their little circuitry of our little metal friends. Considering how it takes almost 2 years to build just one of these robots, it's currently undecided on whether or not the technology to combat the radiation issue currently exists. So, sadly, this is actually a time-sensitive issue. The nuclear material from Fukushima is actually leaking from the plant into the Pacific Ocean, and it's been showing up on coastlines as far away as the U.S. West Coast. So I'm going to talk to you guys about this really cool device that I had a chance to use last week. It is called the XCAT. It's by Red X Defense, and we got ours through a partnership with Arrowhead Forensics. And what it is it is a presumptive optical capillary test kit, basically. Not really a kit, it's more of a machine. It's like a handheld tricorder that Spock would use on crime scenes. That's the best way to describe it. It can do explosives, presumptive testing, gunshot residue, and powdered cocaine and heroin. I mainly use it for gunshot residue and had a chance to use it again this past week on a shooting scene. And basically what it is it is a condensed modified sodium rhodesonate test, in which you take your testing strip cards and it has an adhesive side and a paper side, and you rub it and tack it onto your suspected area or target surface that has what you may believe to be gunshot residue or explosives residue. And then you insert it within the device. You crush the device, and then it has basically, like I said, the sodium rhodesonate test, and the optical analysis by the device looks at it and goes, okay, there's enough lead for this to be consistent with gunshot powder primer residue. It is an awesome device. I highly recommend that you guys take a look at it. Go to Arrowhead Forensics website or Red X Defense's website. Take a look at it. It's a pretty awesome device. I really do think that every agency or lab should have one. The turnaround time on the presumptive aspect is so quick, it's literally within 90 seconds you're going to have an answer on whether or not there is the presence of gunshot residue or explosives or whatever drug you're testing for. We're going to put the link for it up on the Facebook page, so make sure you go check it out. And speaking of page, make sure you go to our webpage, forensicgeek.science. We have a whole new design up there for you, and I would love to know what you guys think of it. You can let us know either on the page or go to our Facebook site, facebook.com/forensicgeek. And we want to hear from you on what you think of the new site. But more than anything, I want to hear your questions, guys. Answer me this. Ask your questions. Let us know what you want to hear on the show, what you want to see on the show now that we're doing some video episodes, and we'll get it up there for you. You guys have been awesome. So I look forward to hearing back from you guys. And remember, you're listening to Forensic Geek Radio, and I'm your host, Detective Zack Foxen. Keep learning.